What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. Call me crazy while looking at the most recent physique update from Samson Dauda, 12 days out of his 4th consecutive Arnold. I have got to say, it feels like he's slowly turning into Ronnie Coleman type freaky. Now don't get mad, he isn't on Ronnie Coleman's level, but the man is well on his way to become one of the most unique Miss Olympia champion of all time. Because that kind of mass, and he legit looks 300 pounds, and with that kind of a small waistline, that is so unprecedented. I mean, when was the last time this happened? He's literally taking the sport to a whole different level, with constantly evolving his physique. And it's kinda crazy to even think about it, that he was getting beat by so many of the current IFB pros just 3 years back. And we know Milos Sarcev isn't in Samson's camp now, and maybe losing the Arnold last year to Hadi Choopan, that was like a silver lining in his career, because he turned to his wife as his coach, and they are absolutely killing the game right now. But let's give the credit to Milos Sarcev. He did help Samson Dauda put a lot of size in very little time, and it's his unbelievable mass, along with his amazing symmetry, that's making him become such a fierce competitor. So 12 more days to go, and Samson cannot wait to finish this prep and give his body the much needed rest. But first, he has to win his second ever Arnold, and that $500,000 in paycheck. Guys, Mr. Olympia Signature Series is now live on hostel.com. Use the code FAZI10 to get 10% discount and click the arrow below to check out all the hostel products. Next up, we have James Hollingshead, as him and his coach Stephane, they were on the latest episode of the Bodybuilding and the Bollocks. So James isn't in the right mind to analyze himself how he's looking at 12 days out. So anyone who has competed know what the prep run is, and that just makes you think that you do not look good at all, when in fact, after everything is said and done, you go back and look at those same pictures, and actually you get surprised on how good actually that time was during the prep. But thanks to Stephane for giving us an inside scoop.
Now he's making super fast steps now when it comes to that glute control, because from the side or when he's doing transitions, I see fibers more than I've ever seen in his physique ago.
So one thing is guaranteed, based on Stephane's assessment, that this will most probably be the biggest as well as the leanest version of James to ever step on a bodybuilding stage. And it's not only Stephane who thinks that James is gonna place either 3rd or 4th at this year's Arnold. Bert Wilkin also put him ahead of guys like Brandon Carey and William Bonac and all these other guys.
Samson.
Yep.
Derek.
Yep.
Andrew.
Yep.
I go. I thought I could go quick. I'm gonna go James. Give me James 4th.
So the last set of progress pictures that we saw from James, they were taken at 4 weeks out, where he did look amazing. And let's not forget that James was able to place top 5 at the Arnold last year without even being at his personal best, and while coaching himself. And he also had a very long off-season where he pushed way over 300 pounds. So we expect to see some major size improvements. So this is just a warm-up show for James, and I feel like he's either gonna win Detroit or FIBA Germany, as James has confirmed that is doing both of them.
We are going to focus more on how deep are the lines, how good can he control the body, how is the muscle insertion going in, and how clear is that muscle insertion.
Next up, we have an update from Iain Valliere. I believe he is one of the strongest guys that we saw in the Pro League during his time as an active IFB pro, especially when it comes to those pressing movements. And with all that stuff and the PEDs these guys are on, especially during their time, their strength is supposed to go over the roof, especially if it's someone like Iain Valliere, who was naturally very strong to begin with. But this right here is more impressive than all those times. So Iain being 100% natural at the moment. And what I mean by that is, Iain claims that he isn't even on TRT and still being able to push 3 plates on Smith machine. That is ridiculous strength. So after years and years of beating the body trying to move up the ranks, the joints also mess up big time. But apparently Iain is still doing fine. 3 years into his retirement, his current body composition, that won't even look close to what he looked like in his prime. But the man is still trying to hold on to all that muscle as much as he can until he jumps back on the gear, because that is bound to happen. Now Iain left the sport at such a good time. The competition was getting better with every passing year after the Olympia 2021, which was his best year as a competitive bodybuilder. So he made a timely decision of retiring with his health intact. So how do you guys rate his strength? That too while being natural. Guys, Gorilla Wear is offering a massive discount of up to 70% right now. Use the code Fazi10 to get 10% extra discount. Next up, we have an update from Ramon Dino, and what better time than this to train with none other than the former Miss Olympia, Derek Lunsford, who is just about to compete at his first ever Arnold in 12 days time. So Ramon Dino himself is a champion at the Arnold, and being in this type of environment, that is only gonna lift up his motivation as he gets ready for this upcoming 2025 season, or more specifically, the Olympia later this year. Because this is the year a new classic physique king will be crowned, and all the Brazilians, they will of course want Ramon Dino to make history, because the man has placed runner-up twice to Chris Bumstead, and he has never been outside of that top 5 since he made his classic physique debut back in 2021. Now it is so incredible how big Ramon looks during the off-season, and if there was no classic physique, this guy would have been competing in the men's open, because at this point, he's just fighting his body to grow, to get bigger. So 2024 wasn't the best year for Ramon. The Olympia last year was a big disappointment, and so was the Arnold. The major reason for that was his posing regressed big time in just 1 year, but he looks very focused this time around, and the only reason he left his home and is now training with these champs in the US is to be at his all-time best come Olympia in October later this year and fight for that Miss Olympia title. Next up, we have another off-season physique update from Stephane, who is on his way to make one of the most anticipated men's open bodybuilding debut this year, after deciding not to compete in Classic Physique Olympia last year, despite qualifying by winning Portugal Pro. And the reason was pretty simple, that he was doing his physique nothing but more harm than good, by continuously being in calorie deficit. Although what him and his coach Patrick Tour were able to put together for Portugal Pro last year, that was very impressive. I mean, he was able to beat a former top 10 Olympian, Wahid at that shoe. So by that metric, Stephane could have placed top 10 at his Classic Physique Olympia debut last year. But he just finally realized that he wasted a good part of his pro career, and that too in a division where he would have never been able to truly improve his physique, and he would have never been able to make a solid progress. So the quality of Stephane, especially the arms, delts and the chest, that is just insane. He's over 280 pounds in these off-season physique updates, and the man is easily gonna be 10 to 15 pounds heavier for his men's open debut, maybe more than that. And those numbers are very realistic, as he was doing nothing while losing that muscle to begin with to make that weight cut off. So I for one am really looking forward to his pro debut, as this can be a very impactful one, because if he brings that same classic condition with more size, he's gonna be a force. But do let me know what you guys think. Mike Sommerfeld gives just a glimpse of how things are looking at 12 days out of this upcoming Arnold. And safe to say that there is gonna be a different level of shreds on the Arnold stage, displayed by Mike Sommerfeld. That tricep is ripped to shreds. And do you guys know what's even more surprising? Even after putting on like 15 pounds of solid muscle on his frame since 2023, Mike still had room to grow. So chances are that is gonna be a bit bigger here at the Arnold compared to the Olympia last year. And who out there is gonna bring a level of density and muscularity to match a guy like Mike, especially if he's also in the best condition of his life? So the man is doing all the things necessary for the recovery, and there is a mutual consensus that Mike has the best chance, not only at winning this upcoming Arnold Classic, but also the Olympia later this year. So TFE Media posted this throwback of Mike from the Olympia 2024 that shows what kind of a condition Mike was in for the Olympia last year. Not a single weak muscle group on his frame, not a single weak shot. So that looks like an Arnold champion already, especially if they land this peak 100%. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.